Ave Satanis, you're watching Sanctuary Satanica. This video is for everyone who keeps asking me the same questions over and over again, and I don't want to answer them more than once. So that's what this video is for. Um, so you want to meet Satan, do you? Okay, well, understand a few things when you ask me this question. I met Satan when I was not really looking for him, okay? And I feel like that's how most of us who stick with him find him. Is like we're not really looking for him and he sort of comes to us and we accept him into our hearts and da 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 da. So the first thing people often ask me is, how do I sell my soul? Okay, well, couple things to unpack with that. Couple things. The short answer I can give you is just no. No. Um, there's nothing to sell, there's nothing to buy, Satan doesn't want it. You know what I mean? Like, your soul is yours. Your soul is always yours, and it cannot be given, taken, sold, bought, etc. However, there are contracts some people make. Now, I don't know about you, but personally, I think the Catholic Church baptizing babies is more of a soul selling than anything I've seen in Satanism, personally. So no, from what I've seen and from what I practice, like, and from how I've interacted with Satan, and even me asking Satan that very question, um, no, like selling your soul in Satanism, selling your soul to Satan is not a thing. Um, some people may have pact like rituals, like that they may refer to as that, or whatever, just to grab people's attention, I suppose. But no, your soul is not something that can be exchanged. That's not really how that works. If you are interested in Satanism, it should be because you want to be free of bondage. And thus, that's why a lot of Satanists do things like reversing our baptisms and, renouncing previous beliefs before we step onto this path. It's just sort of a no brainer, right? Anyway, this is the path of people who want to choose strength and want to choose agency and individuality. So if you're coming here wanting me to hold your hand, and it seems to be specifically me with a lot of these messages, although I'm sure I'm not unique in the messages I receive. If you're wanting me to hold your hand through this, like, this isn't the path for you. I came to this path already equipped with a lot of skills that I have built in other paths to be self-sufficient spiritually. Let's think realistically. With Christianity, at least in the United States, you can walk down any fucking street and you'll probably stumble across a church. They're everywhere. I have found, when I searched in my area just out of curiosity, there were churches like literally in buildings that I had been inside before and had no idea there were functioning churches in there. They're abundant, right? You know, a lot of other religions have centers of practice, centers of worship that are easy to visit, easy to join. But Satanism doesn't really have that unless you want to suck up to TST. Like, there's really nowhere for you to go, okay? I don't even know of any physical locations of the modern day Church of Satan. And I mean, unpacking these organizations is a whole different conversation. But for theistic Satanists, there's basically nowhere, okay? There's basically nowhere. Occasionally there's like a Luciferian church that will open up or whatever, but, maybe even private temples, but there's really not a lot out there. It's not like you can just easily find a satanic church, certainly not a theistic one, or a spiritual one. So most of us practice at home, okay? Most of us practice at home, in nature, or wherever we're safe. And if you're not ready to to deal with like potentially not being safe, especially if you're messaging me from an Islamic country or a heavily Christian country like where I live, I live in Salem, Massachusetts. You think it would be very safe for me, and I get harassment just for being pagan here. Okay. Again, another conversation, but the United States is a Christo-fascist country, and it's time we confront that. It's not really safe to be anything other than that. You know, it's not safe to be an atheist. It's not safe to. It's not. So when you're and a lot of you seem to be choosing, and that's fine. I'm not really going to judge how people get on this path, but if you are choosing this path deliberately, understand the risk you are taking. Understand what you may have to give up. Okay? Especially if you're just so willing to give up your soul, maybe think about, maybe think about if you're so willing to give it up, like who would want it? Like if I had a car, right? Even if it was a great looking car, and I just went up to a stranger, because at this point, Satan is a stranger to you. And I just went up to a stranger and I said, like, please take my car. Please take it from me. Please, please, please. And you're not even asking for anything in return. Or maybe the things you ask for are just ridiculous. Like, I want to get laid. Please take my car. If you help me get laid. Like, are you going to want that car? If you're the person on the other end of that conversation, are you going to want that car? Like, if you have any, you're going to be like, what's wrong with the car? Why are you trying to get rid of it? It seems like a nice car, but like something must be wrong with it if you're desperately trying to get rid of it. Yeah, same impression you're giving with your soul here, okay? Like, same impression. If you want to be a slave so badly, I don't know why you're coming to this ideology. I don't know why you're coming to Satan. That's the wrong deity to be approaching if you want to be a slave, okay? I'm just gonna have to put that frankly. If you want to be a slave, go back to church. It's just, I don't know what it is, but the other thing is, if you're coming to Satan with a lot of Christian or Islamic or whatever, Abrahamic, whatever ideas, you're not really going to meet Satan. You're not going to meet the Satan that I know or that, anyone on this current knows. You're going to meet this caricature. You're going to meet like you're going to meet a mask. You're not going to meet Satan. And there are reasons for that. Because if you do dive into this, say maybe I'm wrong and you dive into this with a Christian perspective on Satan and and Satan actually shows the fuck up, you're going to have a mental breakdown. The other thing I would need to mention when it comes to like my satanic awakening, so to speak, is I had experience as a chaos magician. And if you know anything about actual chaos magic, not being chaotic, I mean like actual chaos magic, then you know that it's about shifting paradigms. And that means that you have to like completely change how you think every once in a while about the world, about everything, about yourself, about other people, about deity, about existence. Like you have to completely change how you think to shift into a new paradigm. So by the time I was shifting into the satanic paradigm, like I was used to shifting paradigms. Okay. If you don't know anything about that, look more into chaos magic. That's what I'm just going to say. But what I mean is, if you're not prepared to change the way you think about everything, and you're completely stuck in this same rut that you were raised in, or that was just around you, or that you think you should have because everyone the fuck else around you seems to have it, then you're probably not ready for this. And if you want to dive in, be my guest, but just be prepared to have your world fucking rocked, all right? Okay. So, we're about 10 minutes in. And I haven't really told you how to meet Satan. Well, that's because, one, I wanted to make sure you have the desire to even stick through this video. And two, I've already shared a ritual on exactly how to contact Satan. I put it on TikTok of all places, okay? The reason I put it on TikTok of all places, and I was so flippantly like able to share that, was because I knew that no one would do it. All right, I knew no one would do this ritual. How did I know that? Because it's not full of it. There's no sacrificing a goat. There's no like black candles necessarily. There's no like robes and theatrics and all that shit. Because frankly, if you cannot sit alone in the dark and speak directly to Satan, like and wait for an answer, like you're not ready to do all that other shit. All that other shit would be doing for you is distracting you from who Satan really is. And it would build all this expectation within you. And like, frankly, the tricky thing about really getting to know him is you have to let that shit down. You have to let that like wall you put up with your shit like down just a little bit, just enough for him to completely tear it apart. All right. If he don't want you, he ain't coming. All right. Like that. There's a reason why, with all these spirits, there seems to be a consistent way of summoning them, except for the big one. All right. The best you can get for consistent communication like that, where he's likely to show up, is, traditional witchcraft. They don't even call them invocations, but just like path workings in a sense that are, you're going to a specific place where you have a better chance of encountering the devil. So, and, a lot of traditional witches do not refer to the devil as Satan because they view Satan as exclusively Christian and I met Satan when I didn't believe in Satan and I was just attempting to meet the witch's devil. So, deduce what you will from that. I've already made my personal deductions about that. So, there you go. Anyway, the ritual being very simple. You're going to want to be somewhere where you're not going to be interrupted for at least like 15 minutes. And you can bring maybe one candle with you. Don't have your phone. Don't have anything around you to distract you. Sit in the dark. If you like, light that candle, and speak to Satan. Honestly, openly, truthfully. Why are you talking to him? What are you expecting from him? What are some preconceived ideas you have of him? What are you wanting out of this relationship you want to build with him? Why are you here? Tell him all that, okay? And before you say, well, how do I know he's there? How do I know he's listening? One, he already hears it, all right? Whenever his name is spoken, he knows. And two, whether or not he makes his presence known to you is his business. But also, when he is there, there's no way, like I've said this before, there's no way you can mistake him for anyone else, okay? That's why I don't really get into the whole trickster spirit conversation, because like he is the trickster spirit. He is the trickster spirit. So, you can't out trickster. I'm not going to say I haven't encountered things trying to convince me they were Satan before. I have, but they never succeeded because I know Satan. So, point blank. So once you have spoken everything, you've gotten it out. You've said your piece. Then you shut the fuck up, okay? And you listen. And by listen, I don't just mean like audibly listen. I mean listening with your body, listening with your spirit, listening with your eyes even. What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? Okay? And just observe that and feel it. He may even come and clearly speak to you. I don't know. He has his ways with everybody that are different. But just receive that. And frankly, you know, if you're just coming out this and you're just giving it, you're just trying it for shits and giggles, I mean, it will probably take you a few tries. He already knows your intention before you speak. So, but he will hold you to your word. He will hold you to your word. So, don't be foolish. This is the devil we're talking about. And before anyone tells me that this is dangerous, yes, it is dangerous. Yep. Talking to the devil could potentially be dangerous for you. I don't know why that is something we have to explain. Now, I personally don't feel like Satan would just harm anybody. I don't think that's really on his agenda. But there are some, there's a risk of collateral damage if you're just not prepared for his energy. And there's no way to truly prepare anybody for his energy until they encounter it. But, I can at least warn you. I can at least warn you, some of y'all are not going to be able to handle it. And some of y'all are not going to get results at all. Because although he, is very accepting, if you're not someone he's chosen, you're going to have to work a lot harder to get his attention. And what he decides to do from there is what he decides to do from there. Satan's will, period. Now, this ritual I recommend doing before you decide to reverse any baptisms or anything like that, because, because you don't really know what you're in for until you know what you're in for. So until you've spoken with Satan, you don't really, until you felt his energy, you don't really know what you're in for. And it's a bit foolish of you to keep pursuing something that, may not be good for you. I'm not going to say, I'd like to believe, part of me would love for everybody to become a child of Satan, but realistically, and honestly, looking at humanity, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. This is a path like no other, and it's not like anything really I've walked before. Yes, a lot of what I've walked before has helped me structure where I'm at, but spiritual Satanism is different. Devotion to Satan is different. And I can't even compare him really to other gods I've been devoted to. He is unique in and of himself. And if you want to know more about that, you can watch my video, I think it's called The Devil in Me. I'll link it in the description or something. But I talk more about, my experience of Satan in that video. I hope this clears some things up. I hope this puts responsibility back in people's hands of their own spirituality, because, frankly, I'm not interested in, running a temple with a bunch of people who are very dependent on me. I'm not interested in any of that. And I have my own devotion and my own goals to focus on. And what I want for Satan's children is that they can focus on their own devotion and that they can achieve their goals. That is what I want more than anything. I want Satan's children to be on Satan's path and to fulfill his will for them, and to be happy and safe and recognized as valid. That's all I really want. So if you wanted to follow some cult where some sexy chick like me is running it, I'm sorry, it's not here. We're not going to be doing orgies together. And if that's your reason for coming over the fuck here, just go somewhere else with that, okay? Because it's not with me, all right? Thanks for watching. Thanks for making it through the whole video. I'll be back with more videos. I want to make more religious content. I've been making a lot of occult content, and I will always be making occult content. But I think I really want to make more devotional, satanically religious stuff, diabolist stuff. So feel free to leave suggestions in the comments for future topics. I think I'd like to talk about baptism reversal and satanic baptism at some points. So let me know if that's something you're interested in hearing about. I've been away again because I have a lot of projects that are on in my hands, and I'm very excited about them all. And I'm trying not to talk about them because I feel like when I talk about things, I put them off. So I'm just, I'm excited. I'll leave it at that. When it happens, it's happening, and I'll share it with y'all first. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're all doing well. If you're someone who's bugging me a lot in my messages, like, please sit with what I've said, and you can explore my other content, but just sit with what I've said for a few days, or try this ritual out before you keep asking me how to sell your soul. Okay? Think about what you're saying, and think about the impact it could have on you spiritually, and reflect on why you're here. Come here with purpose. This is a path with purpose. So with that being said, hail Satan. Good night. I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.